we was just wondering that... Are you going to tell police?
No.
Of course not, Mrs. Ogden.
You'd have every right, you know. He was blind drunk. And if shop window hadn't been there for him to flop against, he'd have fell flat on his face, wouldn't you? Hey, wouldn't you?
All right, well, I was drunk, Mr. Clegg. You know how it is, don't you? I mean, a bad day at the yard, you know, and every pub door seemed to be singing the Indian love call, you know.
Yes, I quite understand. Yeah.
You're sure there's nothing to pay, then?
Oh, no, insurance will pay. What's £9 or £10 to them? We should worry if they don't.
Yeah, well, they've got the money, them insurance companies, haven't they?
Aye,
It's like having your windows cleaned for nothing, isn't it, if you look at it that way?
You know, we've learned a lesson today, Chuck, haven't we?
A lesson?
Aye, always insure, you know. I mean, if it had been our window, you'd have been dipping in your purse, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, you're certain it's all sorted out then, Mrs. Clegg?
Absolutely, Mrs. Ogden.
Well, Stan's very sorry, and so am I, and I hope I can still hold my head up in here.
Oh, we'd like to thank you for being so honest.
You can hold your head anywhere, Mrs. Ogden.
Ah, well, I thought, I
Stan,
can't let...
Come on, Chuck.
It won't affect our understanding, will it, you know, when I'm short on Thursdays?
No, not at all.
I'd buy you one if you give us a chance.
You're not really going to let him, are you?
Let who?
Mr. Ogden, take the blame for what you did.
Johnny blame? Not as if he ain't used to it. It's like a white line, no harm done.
Ma'am, you can't turn a vice into a virtue. We're not doing them a favour.
Done, and that's the end of it, Gordon.
Oh, shut up, both of you.
Oh, yes, it suits you, doesn't it? Another bit of shame shunted out of sight. Only in this case, it's planted squarely on the shoulders of a neighbour. How can you see him come into the shop and not want to crawl under the counter? You know what? I'm surprised you didn't make him pay for the window.
Gordon's quite right, Maggie. I can't let everybody think that Stan Ogden did it.
Why not?
Because he's a mug. And besides, he's simple.
But bright enough not to ask too many questions about insurance. He knew we weren't insured.
No, it wasn't him. That was his wife. Anyway, as I said, he's simple, and I'm going to tell him that there's no need for him to be a drunken vandal as well. That's my vacation.
Les, you're not going.
I don't see why...
Shut up, he's not going. Because if he does, we move from here today. I couldn't stop here a second with them knowing. And leaving here isn't just leaving. It's leaving the last of our money, the last of our self-respect. The finish of us. Simple as that. Finish. So he's not going.
Gordon, go and see to your mother.
Hey, are you washing or just rinsing? They keep flapping against the backyard wall. It's maddening.
Is your Ken going in for organised crime?
Hey?
Well, isn't this a floor plan of the bank at the corner of Bright Street?
No, silly, it's a plan of the flats.
Oh, fancy me forgetting. You always like your fires with building plans, don't you?
Meaning, what are they doing here?
Well, only if you want to tell me.
You tell me something.
As long as it won't make you blush.
What are you doing sitting in my chair, minding my business at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Emily gave me an half day for having dimples. No, it's in the design stage, really. I'm not sure yet whether to start another smouldering affair or buy a wig. Now it's your turn.
Oh, Ray lent me the plans.
Oh, Ray.
Here, give me a hand with this. You help me with some shopping.
Who? Ray. Oh, and stop for a cup of tea and chat all about himself, I suppose.
Do you like the flats?
Well, they're not the last idea in 20th century living, but I mean, improvement on this, aren't they?
Exactly.
Hey?
That's what I keep telling Ken.
Oh, I see you want to move into on them.
Now, with Len Fairclough still lagging the pipes or whatever he's doing.
Ray's doing that as well, you know. Suppose Ken thinks the other side of the road's Indian country.
You're right. Wimslow's his promised land.
Hey, Val.
Yeah?
Why don't you leave that in here?
What for, for heaven's sake? They make the room such a mess.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But when Ken came home, we'd think he was having his tea in a tent.
Lucille, are you trying to tell me something?
Only that it might be an idea to make Sir Kenneth's own cosy life a little more uncosy, if you understand me meaning. Try me for original thought any time. Hey, is that child damage?
Yes, Sue, just now. She decided that wall ought to have a picture as well. I had to scrub it.
Tell Ken it's rising damp, and I'll try and keep on being brilliant.
Rising damp.
You know, I find tinned fruit as refreshing as anything in the warm weather.
Yes, well, in my tropic days as a bunting tosser in the Royal Navy, you know, we practically lived on tinned peaches and fresh lime juice.
With occasional recourse to stronger liquids, I'm quite sure.
Ah, you're quite right there, Mrs. Walker. Do you know that birthdays were days and a half? All the Matelots used to share each other's rum ration. Yes, great days, Mrs. Walker, great days. I only wish there'd been more like 'em.
And no shop windows to fall into?
No, only the sea.
Mr. Ogden was telling us how generous you've been about the payment for the damages.
Oh, no, not us. That was the insurance. Yes, you know,
But
when I look
Mrs.
back
Clegg
now,
gave me the impression
there
that the
were
window was
very
not
good
insured.
times, very good times. All of us equal and no responsibility.
Yes, I suppose so. Well, good afternoon, Mr. Clegg, and I sincerely hope that no more of our residents damage your property.
No, well, if they do, I shall be beginning to think that they don't like us.
Oh, now come. We haven't known you long enough to form definite opinions about that. You'll have to give us time. To like you, of course.
Ah, well, that's done. Was that Mrs. Walker?
Mm-hmm. She wants watching.
Oh, I knew that the first time I saw her busy eyebrows come round that door. She's not been saying anything, has she?
No, just quizzing a bit.
Oh, well, I'm a match for that. I told him up phone you'd go round to the insurance office personally this afternoon. I want to be absolutely sure we're covered this time before they put a new wind in.
Did you hear me, Les?
Mr. Clegg, you gave me peaches. I asked for pears.
Hey, have you seen me playing out shirt? I said, have you seen me playing out shirt? It's not in our wardrobe anymore. In fact, there's none of my stuff in our wardrobe anymore.
Oh, your stuff is getting crushed by my stuff, so I moved your stuff in with the twin stuff. Well, it's not my fault the house is short of wardrobe space.
But the shirt's made out of nylon. You could put it in a matchbox and it wouldn't crush.
Not anymore, it's getting old. Look how much more room you want in bed these days.
A good wife should be happy and gay, not sour and obstructive. Happy marriage rule number 1002.
How can I be gay when unnecessary housework is turning me into a jaded bondmaid?
Jaded what?
Bondmaid. That's what a man on the telly said women still were, despite 50 years of the vote.
And just what is unnecessary about your housework? I mean, I'd hardly call feeding Susan and Peter unnecessary, or even feeding me.
Well, cleaning these windows is unnecessary half the time. They get twice as dirty as, well, say the windows of the flats will.
But the windows in the flats are only over there. And there's as much damp and grime per square inch over there as there is over here.
Ah, well, you've just forgotten something, Mr. Clever Clogs.
What?
The prevailing wind. Hey, your chest gone bald.
Hey, how's the campaign going? I've had no more ideas myself.
Not to worry, I have.
Oh, Val, I wanted a word with you.
Well, if it's about the twists and turns and artful dodges of marriage, you couldn't have come to a better person.
Oh, Belle, don't you make it sound as though I'm going into politics.
Well, that's what marriage is. Come in. Ken's about, but he's off to be a starter or something at a sports meeting. There's just a chance he'll shoot himself at the starting gate.
Oh, so you've closed up the West Wing then?
Something like that. Well, here I am, fire away.
Val, do you think the state of marriage suits you?
Oh, yes.
Why?
The usual reasons. Fulfillment, companionship, warmth.
Right, I'm off!
Good riddance. Is that what you wanted to ask about, the marriage state?
No, and I don't think I'd be flogging the subject if it had have been.
Or what then?
Do you think I pinched that money?
Oh.
No, it's all right. I know my mother's discussed it with you.
Well, I mean...
Charming, the opinion everybody's got of me round here, isn't it? Actually, I got it from a money lender, and that's that.
A moneylender?
Yeah, 10 to 10,000, with or without security. I only borrowed 100.
Dennis!
Just to tide me over the wedding, like, until my full commission rolls in.
Was that wise?
I don't know about wise. It was necessary.
For an expensive engagement ring and a big wedding.
You're talking like Jenny.
Oh, I'm sure she doesn't want you
Look,
to get...
all my life I've been doing things the wrong way. Jenny is the girl I want as my wife, and this time I'm going to do things the right way. For her. For me as well, too, I suppose. There's a lot of selfishness mixed up with it, but I just want to make sure that I'm doing things the proper way.
Love, everybody knows you're doing the right thing marrying Jenny. But going to a money lender...
Well, there's no problem. I've told you it'll all get paid back. I opened another account today.
Couldn't you ask Elsie, your mother, about Steve's allotment?
She hasn't even opened them, and for me, they can stay that way. I wouldn't touch them with gloves on.
Oh, I don't know. You tanners. Everything's always got to be the hard way, hasn't it? Well, I suppose I could ask Ken if he could...
Oh, no, thanks, Val. No, it's all right. Look, you won't say anything to anybody about that money lender, will you?
All right. My lips are sealed.
Saying is, the atmosphere in that shop was so thick, you could almost taste it.
Well, I haven't seen him mark on Les Clegg yet.
Nor on Mrs. Clegg.
Oh, I don't think he's one who'd raise his hands to a woman.
No, they hit your back.
Eh?
Don't tell us your Hilda's been cuffing you, Stanley.
I thought you did the eye blacking in your house,
She
Stanley.
doesn't fight fur.
Ah, booby traps the bangers, does she?
No, waits till I sit down, creeps up behind me, wings me round lug hole and runs.
Why didn't you wing her back?
I can't catch her. Me used to some of her making thick chips. I can't even defend myself now.
You ought to count your blessings.
Blessings.
Yes, not having to pay for that window when you really ought to.
I didn't ask to say it was insured. Anyway, I'm getting me desserts.
Hey, I could lend you a crash helmet, mate. Save your lug holes.
Listen, the mood she's in, she come at me with a flipping tin opener, mate.
Well, I'll admit to you, Annie, I've eaten all the caviar and left you a buttered crust.
You know, Jack, if I were you, I wouldn't be quite so cocky. I have just been hearing about Hilda Ogden's new stratagem. Now, what is it, Len? She waits for Stan to sit down and then...
Well, go on.
I'll see you later.
What's she on about, eh?
Plotting violence, Mr. Walker.
The wives are getting stroppy.
Oh, you can say that again. Val's rattling the sabre.
Oh, I'd have thought Val very easy to control.
She is. Scotch, please, Mr. Walker.
Scotch.
Give someone else a chance, love.
Look, I want to look nice when I'm seeing the vicar, don't I?
Dennis? Are you superstitious?
Only about cutting my nails on Friday. Why?
Just trying to understand me fella.
Understand what about your fella?
Why are you insisting on a church wedding?
Because it's what you should have.
Why?
Because it's proper.
Proper? It's a funny word for you.
Do you know what marriage is?
A gamble.
It's a solemn contract.
Very.
And what's the most solemn place there is?
Highbury after Arsenal have lost.
A church. That's one of the main reasons they build them.
Well, I still think it's going to a lot of fuss to be what we already are.
Not at all. My mum and Mrs. Caldwell have seen to that.
I meant in love. We are, aren't we?
But that's not enough. Not in the Junior Chamber of Commerce bank statement world where, God help me, I'm trying to stake a claim. They want to see proof.
Well, I don't particularly want to give it to them.
Jenny, love, let's do it properly. Monotonously, sentimentally, expensively, but properly.
I'm a very simple girl.
Please.
You really do believe in things like church?
Yeah, I suppose I do.
All right. I'll put my payday smile on. For you and for your vicar. Come on.
Don't tell me the twins are holding another anti-parents meeting in there.
They're in bed. Though how they managed to sleep squashed in one tiny, airless little room beats me. It's not doing their lungs any good. Can't be.
Our David and me slept in a room like that until we were adults, and it didn't do our lungs any harm.
Where there's no sense, there's no feeling.
I know. We've got visitors.
Huh. I don't know what we'd do if we did have visitors. Where'd we put them, the cold place?
Val, why are you ironing in here? Apart from trying to prove that this isn't a house, but a box of fairy slippers.
I'm not trying to prove anything. Go and look for yourself. There's no room in there. And it's damp.
Damp? We've not had any rain for a week.
Where do we want the kids? I don't know, poor little things. The black hole of Calcutta for a bedroom and permanent neighbour noise.
Val, come here. Right, I challenge you. Explain why you've turned a cosy, comfortable sitting room into a Chinese laundry, a pram park, and a hardware shop at 7:30 in the evening.
Easy.
I'm listening.
The washer is washing because the kids need clean clothes when I take them to Southport tomorrow on the puff-puff.
And the maidens, all forlorn?
I'm drying sheets that have been flapping against a dirty backyard wall, which incidentally you promised to paint in 1965 and didn't.
And the pans?
Ah, well, now we're back to the no kitchen again. There's no room.
Yeah, all right. But where's the damp? I mean, this house is as dry as the Sahara on a Sunday morning.
It's here, darling. Careful, it's soaking. Oh, dear.
Well, thank you for coming. I'll see you on Saturday. Goodbye. And the next, please. You come in. Take a seat. Oh, Shirley Bassey. She's so vital, isn't she? That's what life's all about, really, you know. Vitality. Or where would spring be without it, for instance? Or the maternity wards. Not that I've much. Have you, Mr... Oh, I'm awfully sorry. I've forgotten your name. It's a terrible failing of Vickers.
Tanner, Dennis Tanner, and this is my fiancée, Jenny Sutton.
Hello.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, the 29th in the morning. Oh, my mind gets to be like an undertaker's diary, Mr. Tanner. My purpose is also the disposal of bodies, either into the grave or into matrimony. Oh, is he vital, Jenny?
Yeah, when it matters.
He doesn't look it. Are you a practicing Christian, Mr. Tanner? I've not seen you at church. And I could hardly miss you in a congregation of 15 women and 10 choir boys. Unless you happen to be the chap who shouts, "Religion is a clergyman's charity" from the front porch every Sunday morning and then runs like hell.
Well, I haven't been often, but I believe in God and all the other,
Yes, but what's God ever done for you? Well, apart from providing Miss Sutton here, of course.
I like you.
Good.
Well, it's not what he's done for us, is it? I mean, it's the other way about. It's what we're supposed to have done for him, like being good and honest and kind to animals.
Sounds just like a brown owl's welcome to the new recruits, doesn't he? Now, of course God should do something for you. He put you here, didn't he? Now, what a topsy-turvy, frightening place to put anyone. I'm sure we would have been better off on Mars or Jupiter or even in New York.
I think Venus. I like the name.
I know this is going to sound a bit silly, but isn't it your duty to sort of flog God and goodness and all that? You've got a funny kind of sales talk.
Well, of course, it's my duty to sell God. But not as a provider of whiter weddings and blacker funerals.
Yeah, I see that.
I can sell him as a hope for Vietnam, for racial prejudice and greedy ambition. But en masse, I can't sell him as a hope for disease. And that disturbs me.
I only want a wedding.
Mr. Tanner, if I marry you in my church, will you promise to attend every Sunday for the next 40 years?
40 years is a long time.
Yeah, 40 too long.
Exactly. And I wouldn't ask it anyway, not even of a religious maniac. Look, if you were a sometime churchgoer, I would marry you because I would presume the church played some part in your life. And I still will if you want it. But is it God you want, or a ceremony?
Dennis?
I thought it was the same thing.
Oh, it's not, Mr. Tanner. An execution is a ceremony, but it's hardly God.
Come here, little short. Hey, what are you doing slipping furtively into a lady's bedroom?
Mr. Walker said it was all right.
Ah, but what do I say? I think I'll scream.
Look, I'll go if you want to.
No, don't be daft. I mean, you don't know when anyone's pulling your leg or being serious, you, do you?
It's a bit hard to tell with some girls.
Ah, that's part of our inscrutable mystery. What do you want?
You said you wanted me to go over some books with you.
I did.
Yes, you said Miss Nugent had been on it here to learn some bookkeeping.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I thought Ethel was free tonight, hadn't
I'm not in the mood.
Oh.
Anyway, didn't I say I'd come round to you? I know. It was an excuse you wanted to get into me boudoir.
Never entered my head.
Well, then you're not normal.
Perhaps I got a good reason.
My Auntie Annie says, and I quote, all is not what it seems to be at your house. Has your dad got another woman?
No, he hasn't.
Well, I mean, Dad's only like other fellas, you know. I mean, lots of the blokes make passes at me are Dad's. And I wonder if mine was ever like that. No, I don't think he was.
Ah, really lucky then, aren't you?
Am I? I haven't got him.
Look, do you want to do any bookkeeping or not?
No, not tonight. I'll come round, like I said.
No, don't do that.
I'm sure your dad approves of me.
I couldn't care less.
Oh, very independent, aren't we? And what's your mother's verdict?
I wouldn't know. She hasn't said.
Would you care if she didn't like me?
Why should I?
I think you would. I think she's put you off me already. I'm always having trouble with mothers.
No, she hasn't.
Well, why can't I come round then?
I'm going.
Oh, be my death.
You don't want to do any bookkeeping?
I never felt less like her. Hey, and tell your mum I won't eat you.
Got it on again. The poem, why can't Stan come out for a wet instead of you taking bottles
He's
home
still
to
getting his ale into you.
The point? I see the point perfectly, Hilda. The actual drink is not important to Mr. Upton.
Well, what's he been doing? Supping all these gallons all these years then?
Hey, hold on, Mr. Walker, not gallons. Pints. Jill's even when he's short. What draws him is the conviviality, the friendliness of our customers, and the cheery word from those who serve.
Exactly, Mrs. Walker. And I told him he's not getting neither.
Good night, Mr. Walker.
Good night, lad.
Ta-ra.
Good night.
Where did he come from? Out of the wall?
Well, he came in to see Lucille when you were out back, so I told him to go up.
Jack, that boy has a long, long way to go before he has the freedom of this house, especially when you consider some of the peculiar features of his own home life.
Yeah, very funny focus won't take money what's offered.
I think I'll have a word with Lucille.
Nay, Annie, lad's only a lad.
Lads are little fellas, and fellas want watching. All of them, big or little.
I think we should have a collection for Stan, or
I'll spring him out of his prison.
There's another one out without the pass and all.
Have a drink. What you want?
Hello, he's trying to soften us up for something.
No, he's got a sale on for heated rollers. I don't use him no more, Dennis.
Now, come on. Do you want a drink or don't you?
Hey, I think he's genuine.
Whiskey?
Me also.
Right. 3 whiskies, Mr. Walker. Whatever you want, and one for me and yourself as well.
Oh.
Stop staring at me.
I'm wondering what the catch is.
Oh, what we have to do for the booze.
All right, I'd have bought you the drinks in any case, anyway. I have been known to do something for nothing, you know.
That's right, he once brought a shovel of coal in for his mother.
No, but I bet it was instead of a birthday present, though.
Well, seeing as you're so humorous, Jerry Booth, you can make witty speeches at me wedding as best man.
Him, best man? All his suits have got shiny backsides, mate. He can't stand up in church like that.
It's very kind of you
Oh,
to ask
come on,
me,
you asked me to
Dennis.
do it for you, didn't you?
Yeah, I know I did, and you made a grand of it and all, but I'd rather I didn't, if you don't mind.
Well, look, I'm not asking you to stand bail for me or guarantee a debt.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, Dennis. It's just that I'm a bit off weddings at the moment. I know there's weddings and weddings like.
Jerry's very witty with a pint in his fist, you know, but when it comes to public speaking, he gets the screaming abdabs. Isn't that right,
Yeah,
Jerry?
it's something like that. And anyway, cheers, any roll.
Well, nobody's twisting your arm, but I don't know who else to get.
Hey,
Cheer up, mate.
I've let him down a bit, haven't I?
Well, this childish trick deliberately wetting the wallpaper so it comes off.
You tore it off!
Yeah, I want to be within 10 yards of that flipping thing around me for your silly games.
Well, maybe I did go a bit far with that. The rest is true. This house is inconvenient.
So you keep saying.
Look, I'm putting these pans and things back. There's really no need.
And how, might I ask, are you getting them back?
Clever packing.
Blast.
How would you like to have to catch a pan every time you open a cupboard door?
Yes, well, sure. I mean, your problem would be answered with a simple shelf, wouldn't it? We don't need to buy a new house to accommodate a frying pan.
Who would put it up? Certainly not you.
Your boyfriend.
Who?
Ray, what's his name? He'd knock up a shelf for you. Why'd you make him his afternoon cuppa?
Oh, I don't doubt he could.
Oh, so you do make an afternoon cuppa then?
I have.
You fancy him, don't you? Well, he certainly fancies you.
Oh, that's comforting.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Right. Well, you can stick your own flaming wallpaper back then, and I'm quite sure that Raymond will gladly guide your hand.
Ken, you're joking.
Am I? I might return after closing.